Yo YouTube, what's up? Welcome back. New episode. We are currently just about to begin April of our second year. One quick thing to note before we get into this episode. Off camera, I was kind of having a bit of a hunch that we weren't actually gaining popularity as quick as I'm used to, in a sense. I don't know how to explain it. I just had a weird feeling, even though we were making pop, we weren't really progressing very fast, and it turns out there actually was a reason. For some random crazy reason, turned off demographic appeal in the settings, and I don't know why. I don't remember doing it. It must have been an accident, but it turns out when you have it disabled, it gives you basically a slight penalty to your popularity increase. So the good thing is I've realised now rather than way later down the line, so I've turned it back on. I guess the more annoying thing is we probably would already have made mid-level regional if it had been on from the start, and we probably very realistically would have hit high level regional before the end of this year, which is still kind of the plan. Even though we haven't even hit mid-level yet, that's the goal. So we'll see now that I've changed it if there's any significant difference in popularity, although this card here is probably the worst commercial rated card we've done in a while, so this might not be the best example, but we're going to crack on with it. We got quite a lot of debuts, but the only real noticeable debuting guy on this card is Yamada, who is now in the game world, 21 years old. Brand spanking new, clean record. He is very good. You know, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu student, and a world caliber jiu-jitsu fighter. Very, very, very good, Yamada. He'll be in and around the light heavyweight scene. He's going to pretty much tear that division up for the time being. But apart from that, nothing too crazy. Like I said, it's our lowest commercial card. We do have the likes of Vedigri on the card. Edalberto's back, so is Jerizo. Mac Fuller, who's still unbeaten. Matthew Dean, who's still unbeaten. This will be Sean Morrison's last fight too. He's now training for the Olympics, like I mentioned. Same with James Foster, he's now gone. And they're usually gone for about a year or two, if I remember. But let's just jump into it, guys. Let's get on with it. First up, we got a debuting Sato up against Jerizo. Jerizo's a big favourite, but he did lose his last fight against Rob Baines, so he'll be hoping to bounce back here, and he does. Great rating to start the card, and it brings him back to winning ways. Submission finish round 2. No real surprises there. 0-2 Koji up next. Again, huge underdog, and we have Yasin Milkovich debuting today. The 18-year-old Russian, who's actually not bad. He's kind of a boring fighter, I would say. Milkovich, he's not the best, so we won't really expect to see him up and around the title scene, but he should be able to easily dismantle Koji here. Yeah, 32 seconds, even quicker than I thought it would be, and he marks his debut with a 1-2. Mean Machine Mac Fuller's the favourite going into this one. 2 stand-up strikers. Ito is still looking for his first win, but I think Mark Fuller should be able to overcome him here. Yeah, a third round knockout punch finish for Mac to go 3-0. So that's a very good one for him. 2 debuting guys here as well for the lightweight division, but I believe these 2 guys usually fight featherweight. Bulldozer's the slight favourite, the German man himself. I believe he's an accomplished wrestler. Also a slow starter though, which isn't great when it comes to exciting fights, but he does win by TKO first round, good finish. Whereas the Irish man himself starts his debut with a loss. He's not bad, high level wrestler. I'm sure he'll pick up some wins. We have started cutting guys when they hit around 3-4 losses in a row. It will get more severe and more strict as we go on though, guys, so don't worry. We won't be having guys fighting who are like on a 7-6-5 fight losing streak. It's not really immersive. But just for the now, while we bolster up a roster, we don't really have a choice. Oh, he's also calling it Gorshin. That's interesting. Good call out. Gotta love the guys who win on their debut, their first ever fight, and then call people out straight away. Probably the less said about this one, the better. Greg is pretty much on the way out. If he loses this fight, I mean, if I like how I say if, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way he beats Matthew Dean. It's another win for Matthew. I wouldn't really say we're booking Matthew smart in the sense, because it doesn't matter who we give him as an opponent, he's going to win. I'm just trying to not book him as quick, because I don't know why, but I don't know yet if I want him to fight for the middleweight title straight away. I don't know why though, because there's also something very appealing that we let him fight for the middleweight title. But the thing is, if we do, he's going to win, and there's no one that's going to be able to take it off him, at least for a while. So he's kind of almost going to hold the middleweight division hostage for years, like literally years it could be. So I'm not really sure. We'll see. We'll see how that goes, how it develops this year. We'll see what other fights he gets into and how the other fighters in the middleweight class sort of shape up. Two debuting guys here, P. Bar Num, who we don't care about at all. It's probably the only time we're ever going to say his name. We're here for Yamada. The huge favourite, only gets a decent, but it's a knockout first round finish punch. Yamada, we're going to see a lot more from him. Sean Morrison, last fight before he goes to the Olympics, and he marks it with a win, first round finish, 3-0, good rating, also a knockout punch. So I guess we can wave bye to Sean and James. We'll see them, God knows when, probably in about 10 episodes time. Jose Sivak is up next. He's actually already 3-0, but this will be his debut for our promotion, and he's up against Edalberto, who's looking to capitalise. Both guys unbeaten. Edalberto, I would say, is the favourite, though. Yeah, goes the whole way. I believe that's the first fight this whole card that's gone to unanimous decision. Only gets a decent, but it's 3-0 for Edalberto against a guy who already had momentum on his side, so it's an even better win. It's also good that guys like Jose are coming in, because even though they suck, they carry a little bit more name value than some of our guys. Like, they're pretty much one win away from hitting high level regional, because if you don't know, free agents popularity caps at 66%, which is mid-level regional. So all they have to do is come into your promotion with momentum, and if they lose, they're giving more popularity to the guy they've lost to, Edalberto in this case. But if they win, it's also good because all they needed to do was fight one fight and go from mid-regional to high regional. So it's when you can afford them, because they obviously cost like at least $1,000-$2,000 per fight. When you get to that stage, you can afford them. It's always beneficial, especially early game. Co-main event now, another very one-sided fight. We don't really need to say too much about this. Barry Strachan is definitely going 0-3. A first round finish again. To be fair, there has been a lot of finishes, like I said before, but it also makes sense because there's so many one-sided fights. I don't really know what I was thinking when I booked this card. We do have like 4 or 5 cards booked in advance because we're up to about 150 fighters on the roster, and I'm just trying to give everyone as much fights as I can, but I feel like I didn't really book this one smart, in the sense we probably could have got much more name value from the commercial rating, because I believe the main event and co-main are both mid-regional, but for example the next fight card's low-level national. So yeah, let's just get on with the main event and we'll see. Probably the most scuffed main event we'll have for the whole of 1990, but as long as Harry Milne wins, then I'm happy, and he does. Oh god, he does. I thought he lost. I don't know why, but for a second there I thought the Bulldog was Jack Cobblepot. It does go the whole distance and only gets a decent, which isn't great, but it gives Harry his second win to help build his momentum. And yeah, 37%, so we hit mid-level regional, and we'll see now that we've changed demographics if it changes too much in popularity. 32,000 at the gate, so a lot of these guys will take like $1,000-$2,000. But we take 0.9%, which I don't know if that's... I don't know if the popularity's changed too much. We won't be able to check on the next show, like, as well, because the next show is broadcasted on Eurosports cable, because I want to see how much pop we take on the other broadcaster, even though that one's more focused on us earning money. rather than pop, but just with the demographic appeal turned on again. I'm curious to see how it turns out. Sean Morrison, we will. Will we give him KO? We did have a few. Now let's give it to Mac Fuller. Sean Morrison doesn't deserve it. He's leaving us. Boo-hoo, to go to the Olympics. Jericho, yeah, he can take sub and KO, or fight, sorry, I should say, since it's the only great rated fight on the whole card. But we do manage to make money. Not as many guys took over 1,000 as I thought they would, so that's a pretty big bonus. We actually have 2 cards in April, so it's only like 1 or 2 weeks advancing, and then we'll be back on the next show, which is our first ever low-level national draw. So let's get straight into that. Alright, here we go. GFC 13, our first low-level national draw. We are on Eurosports cable instead of SportsTube because, it's more to see the popularity, but we will take a lot of money with Martin Stakasukas. I don't know. God knows how to say it. But he, of course, won his debut. He's our only national valued guy, even though it's in Europe. It sort of the popularity spills over into the UK. So thanks to him and a debuting Bogdan, who's already 2-0, I believe, 3-0. Yeah. Thanks to those two, it's hit low-level national. So let's go and get on with this. Debuting Fast Snit, first up. Not Fast Snit, Fast Smit. 19 years old from Netherlands, making his debut. Easy win, average rated fight. Samuel Russo goes 3-0. Not great, but we booked this for Spat to win, and it comes out that way. And he's also called out George, which, yeah, everyone... George seems to be on everyone's hit list right now. I'm not really sure what's going on. Well, after losing his debut, we've tried to book Robin. Not, I wouldn't say smarter, but just, he's not bad. He's like not a bad wrestler compared to some of the fighters we have, and I was expecting him to win against Ito, but he just couldn't take him to the ground, and Ito knocked him out. So let's see if he does a little bit better against Thatcher. Nice, he does. Submission second round finish to give him his first win, his first pro win. Perrin Venter up next against debuting Sudo. Of course, Perrin is... he's got 2 fantastic rated fights from 3, which is kind of hard to forget this early on. It's really sort of put him in the limelight. He is the favourite going into this, and he gets a great. So he's adding to that resume of very exciting fights, and he gets a first round submission finish win here. Very well done to bring him back to 2-2. Nice, good job, Perrin. Trimboli, who of course lost his last fight to Tony McCall, is up against 2-0 unbeaten Stafford Al, who's hoping to basically stake claim in heavyweight for a title fight. If he keeps winning and stays unbeaten, he'll be in the heavyweight talk for the first ever title fight, to be honest, and he's done so. Knockout first round finish punch to give Trimboli another loss, but it's 3-0 now for Stafford. Well, I must say, it feels like it's been a while since we've had a fight where the odds have actually been pretty even. Usually it's been so one-sided, especially this episode so far with last card and this card, but 2 submission wrestlers up next. Hurd, of course, I believe lost his last fight to Mark Cohen. So we'll see how he does against Fujishima, who's still unbeaten. Oh, and it's Fujishima who gets the win. Only gets a decent rating, but it's another decent win as well for Fujishima, to be honest. It'll really help build his momentum, even though it only got a decent and it went the whole way. It's a good win for him against a guy who is pretty evenly matched to him. And he's also called out Elgar, which definitely would be a tough challenge. I don't think Fujishima would really stand a chance against Elgar. The betting lines would definitely not be this even, to be honest. But good job. Next up we got Mario against Nigel, both guys coming off a win. More noticeably, it was Nigel's first win, so he's finally got on winning ways, but he's got a haul to do. We've kind of threw him back into the wolves again after making him fight some pretty hard guys at the start, Mac Fuller and Ralph. Well, he really should have beat Ralph, to be honest, but It wasn't to be. But he's probably going to have a real hard time here. Oh, okay. Oh my god, excellent. I never even saw it. I just saw the knockout Nigel Malley. It got an excellent rated. I don't know if I've ever had an excellent. On camera, anyway. I believe I've only had it twice off camera. But I don't know, through all my series I've done. Well, all my half series, because I've never quite finished one. But I don't think I've ever had an excellent rated fight. 43 seconds in round 3. You know what we're going to do? Just because it's the first ever excellent, let's run this back if I can. I don't know if I can. Can I? If I... Yeah, let's... You know what? I don't ever usually do this unless it's title fights, like on the big card. We only do 1 or 2 shows per episode. But just in favour of it being the first ever excellent rated, let's run it back and just see. We can watch it together. Wow. I'm really glad actually I ran that back. So, in the first round, Mario got knocked down, sorry, by Nigel, but Nigel overcommitted. So Mario managed to recover. Then, like what, halfway through the second round, was it a guillotine or a triangle choke? Mario got on Nigel, but he overcommitted on that too, and Nigel broke free. And then it looked like Mario was about to win at the end of round 2 with another submission hold, and Nigel got saved by the bell. And then third round for Nigel, second time of asking. After overcommitting in round 1, he doesn't make the same mistake twice like Mario. Well, I guess Mario didn't really make the same mistake twice, he just ran out of time. But wow. Wow, that's crazy. It should have been so easy for Mario too once he got Nigel on the ground. Like, oh, crazy. I mean, I'm more surprised it's excellent. I'm not really surprised that Nigel's won, because I've had Nigel on other saves. He's got crazy, crazy punching power. Even though it doesn't quite say it, like he knocks guys out so easy. It's kind of mad. to be honest, but wow, what a fight. It really did live up to the excellent rating. I'm really glad we went back over it. Let's see what he's got to say. Yeah. Glad to get the win and entertain the fans with such an unreal fight, and you've got my attention there, Nigel. What a fight. Well, moving on from that absolute whirlwind of emotions, we got two unbeaten lightweights up next. I'm kind of hoping Dwayne wins, just with him being younger, but Batista is very good too. Both of them ain't too shabby. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but he gets it done. For a great rated fight too. Knockout punch in round 3. Wow, I really had wrote Dwayne off there, even though I was hoping he would get the win. But yeah, great rating and great outcome for me that we can push the younger guy. Wow. He also wants to face Sean Morrison. I swear, when Sean comes back from an Olympics, he's going to have, I believe, 4 call-outs from before, and every single one of them is going to be nuclear because of the time frame it'll have took, which is, wow. Okay, 2 more fighters like the last fight that are both unbeaten, this time in the welterweight class. We got the brothers Dan and Jim up against each other. Jim being the big favourite, and very similar to last fight, I'm hoping Jim wins, mainly through age. Dan's also much older than Batista was, so I can't stress enough. Decent rating, which isn't great, after getting a back-to-back excellent and then great. But it's a round 3 unanimous decision win for Jim to go 3-0. Finally, we're at the co-main event, which seems like this card's gone on forever. But we got Phil Vedigri, which I can't believe is going to be one of the few guys in the whole game world, never mind my promotion, that'll be 4-0. Like, I don't know how he's managed to do this and slip through the cracks. It would be so funny if he was fighting for the first ever heavyweight title, but he's not really, I don't think. I mean, I say that like he sucks, which he does, but he doesn't, like I guess he's got okay punching power. He's got no legs, basically. But I hope he beats Frank, to be honest. I'm kind of rooting. He's like the underdog. He is the favourite, but we've already had 2 fights this card where the favourite did not come through, and it was heavy favourite. Yes! First round TKO, good finish. 4-0 for Phil Vedigri, the GOAT. The absolute GOAT of the heavyweight division. Probably the most one-sided main event you'll ever see in your life. Grappler against kickboxer. Bogdan's record is about to go downhill, probably, because he's not really all that much. He's up against a guy who's amazing on the ground, and it's the only place where Bogdan absolutely sucks. Yeah, great rating too, which is perfect for the main event. After it started to derail a little bit after that excellent and great rated fight. So I'm glad we finished on a greater critical rating. Should be pretty high. This could end up being fight of the year. Although I'm not really sure how much the excellent will benefit us on the show because it wasn't main event or co-main. But he celebrates his win. Everyone's invited to the after party. He goes 2-0, which will help him. Martin, surprisingly, he's actually very good, but I don't actually remember using him on the last saves, to be honest, which is weird because he is so good. I think maybe he was with Sigma and they had him on an exclusive contract, and that's why I never used him, because he's also only 18, so that's why I'm confused how I've never used him before. But he'll be a solid addition to the middleweight. He could even maybe give Matthew Dean a run for his money. Nah. Who am I joking? He's got no chance against Matthew Dean. But yep, 56 commercial, which is of course our highest. We just 1% into low level national. We take our highest ever gate, 44,000, 80% critical. So very, very good on that front. We only take a 0.6% increase, which, yeah, isn't great, but we probably took about 100k off this card. Nigel Malley, of course, is taking fight of the night. Even though it was like a technical knockout, we're also giving... Will I give him? No, I was going to give him knockout, but we're going to give it to... Yeah, Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne deserves it. And it was it was an actual knockout, not a technical knockout for him. Submission can go to Venner. That was the other great fight, the only one that got a submission, so it makes the most sense. Yeah, so our ads and subs off of our broadcast is 150k. Martin takes away 8 grand too, which is pretty crazy. Bogdan, the loser of the main event, gets 2k. Perrin, who won, gets $300. Nigel Malley only 300 after that amazing fight. We take away 170k. So we get a lot of money, but we're definitely going back to SportsTube and staying there and seeing the difference with our demographic appeal. But we'll move on to next episode, which will probably be the last again. I know last episode there was only maybe 3 fights. In this episode there's only going to be 3 cards. I'll try and slim it down a little bit more, guys, and just this card seemed to go on forever because we ran over the excellent fight, but you know, it is what it is. Next up, we have GFC 14 to end this episode. Main eventing Jeff Carlin, who of course is trying to stay high up in the rankings with Tony McCall. It's slowly but surely kind of unrevealing itself as a Jeff Carlin and Tony McCall heavyweight title fight. We're trying our hardest to keep it that way, with James Foster being away and the likes of Fezek slowly but surely creeping up the rankings. We also got Gorshin trying to stay unbeaten against Kyan Balance. Fujikawa's also main eventing. He comes in to make his debut. He is 4-0. We know him pretty well. Well, I know him pretty well from the last series. He started off not bad back then, but on that playthrough we weren't signing just everyone, so we didn't have as many good fighters this early stage. So I'm not sure he'll be as successful this time around. Hopefully Jeff can beat him. To be honest, hopefully Gorshin gets the win. Alberto against Bingwen Park, who also makes his debut, and he's also 4-0. Brian Barnes is also making his debut, so is Bandera. Many debuts with fighters that already have slowly but surely decent records. A lot of 4-0s on this card too. Hopefully we can get Mark Cohen still winning to build him up with his challenge with George Laurent. Norberto as well, he makes his debut on this card. Very decent fighter, usually in featherweight, but we have him of course in our lightweight. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt as well. Zapatov's back in action against Bradley Dixon, who hopefully Zapatov can get a win. And a few more guys. Nothing too much to notice though. 2 high level wrestlers to start this card, both making their debuts too, with Yamashita being the slight favourite, and he gets the job done too. Doesn't like the betting line. He doesn't let the betting lines down. Submission armbar finish. Great. Great fight. First round finish. Good start for Yamashita. Another debut in Dixon, but he's the huge underdog against Zapatov, who we're trying to give a bit more wins to, since we weren't very friendly to him at the start with some of the matchups we were giving him. Knockout finish too. From the lane pre 23-year-old. Good rating as well. I'll take it. This one's kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit because I've started actually cutting guys from the roster who are 0-3, but I think I actually made this fight before I started doing it. So I'm hoping and praying, even though he's the huge underdog, my fingers are crossed so hard right now that it's Norberto that wins. And he does. Good rating as well. So now, this will be the last time we'll see Wijaya, probably forever. I can't see myself re-signing him, even if he builds himself back up on the local shows. Because it's getting to the stage in the game now where we're signing enough new guys every month that can cover the amount of guys that we're cutting, you know. Rate for rate, it's working out pretty even. So it's a debut win for Norberto. And we're waving goodbye to Wijaya as Norberto also calls out Dwayne Weatherly, which we like call outs, especially in the lightweight class. We need more people that's called out that's not Sean Morrison. So this is good. It's a good change. This one actually changed hands very late, literally about 2 weeks ago in game. I can't remember who, which is so bad that I forgot, but Peter Bracewell basically wasn't due to fight on this card, and he stepped in on very late notice. And the bad thing about this fight is, which is kind of messed up, is both of these guys are actually fighting for their job, because whoever loses is leaving. Well, I kind of hope it's Peter that wins, because he already has a win under his belt. Oh wow, he beat Lee Bolt, who isn't even here anymore. Okay, never mind. I don't actually care who wins. Let's see who's leaving though. That's the more I'm more excited to see who loses, which is kind of messed up. And it is Peter Bracewell, who's been here since day one. Great rated fight too. And Thiago Seni has saved his job right there. So he fights to live. No, he fights. No, he lives to fight another day. Jesus Christ, it's late, as you can tell. I always record these late, but yeah, my brain's not really working. Good thing this is the last show of the episode, because I'm forgetting how to speak English at this point. Well, Fight of the Old Boys up next, and it's also, again, huge underdog, Cliff McAdam, hometown boy, he's fighting for his job. I can't see Mantis losing, no. So there we have another fighter that's going to be cut after this show. Wajaya and Cliff McAdam and Peter Bracewell. And it's a win for Mantis. The first fight on this card that has one of the 4-0 new boys debuting. And it's Burwell up front. The step to the hammer, you could say. Mark Cohen. I feel like we haven't seen him in a while. Well, no, January, yeah. GFC 9. Same with Mantis on the last fight. I feel like we haven't seen him in a while. But it's probably just because we have so many people now. There's just so many fights. We're just flying through them. But hopefully we can get Mark another win. Nice, we do. Goes the whole distance. Good rating. But this will help boost him up. Keep his momentum going too. Would have been better to see a finish, but we'll take it. He also... Oh wow, he brings up George Laurent again, which is just adding more fuel to the fire. That's what we love to see. 2 debuts here. I'm actually hoping Vitali gets the win, because not only is he younger, he's already 3-0. So technically speaking, if he wins this fight, it'll push him up. Oh no, it won't. He is mid-level regional, but it's in. He must have had all his local fights in Europe. Yeah, before we moved him to the UK, so it doesn't actually matter. But he is the huge favourite to win. Good rating, first round submission finish, arm triangle. Okay, so there we go, 4-0 for the 18-year-old, and he also calls out Gunnar Nelson, which is, I mean, we love the call-outs. So I'll take it. All round, that's a very good debut. Well, just as Oberto, who lost his debut, got back on winning ways, beating Cam Demvesi, he's got it all to do again against a debuting Bingwen Park, who's already 4-0. If he wins this fight, it'll propel him into the world rankings, which of course you need 5 pro fights to enter. I don't know if it's 5 pro fights or 5 wins actually, but regardless, if he wins, he'll go into it anyway. And he should do. I don't see how he won't win this one. Bingwen's pretty decent. Alberto's not too bad himself though, but it's a submission finish in round 2, which puts Bingwen in the elite club of world fighters, not just my promotion, of the world fighters that not only have 5 fights, which is few and far between, but it's 5 wins. He's also called out Fernando Amaro, better get prepared. So that's the second debut on this card that they've also called out, which is perfect. It's co-main event time, 2 of our unbeaten boys. Cayan El Toro Valens, the Scotsman himself, 1-0, up against Gorshin. We kind of want Gorshin to win this one, I think, if we're being honest. We're kind of pushing for a Gorshin Go Yamamoto lightweight title fight. So this will only help fuel that fire, to be honest. Oh, he does win. But it goes unanimous decision and it only gets an average, which I actually think this is the first average of the whole card, which is kind of annoying that it's came at the co-main event when it matters most, but regardless, I can't be too annoyed. Gorshin gets the win, the older man, and he still hopes that he gets to compete against Sean Morrison, which he will probably. You know, he'll only be about 31, 32 when Sean returns. Sean will have a bunch of guys queued up waiting for him. I can't wait for that. And here we go, main event. Fujikawa, 4-0, has the chance to enter with Bingwen into the elite club of world ranked fighters, but he's a huge underdog, and we haven't had any of the underdogs win on this card compared to the last. So let's see if Jeff can pull through, and he does. Great rating, which will make up for the average co-main event that we just got. And also to finish off the episode is pretty good. He also calls out Phil Vedigri, who of course we've been booking pretty smart, the GOAT of the heavyweight division, who also kind of puts himself in the frame. to fight in the first heavyweight title fight, which is pretty funny that we're even mentioning Phil Vedigri's name in that section. But we're back on SportsTube, like I mentioned. This was a high-level regional draw main event. We take 48%. I wonder now that the demographics is fixed, and this is the first actual show that made decent pop. While we weren't actually short of A critical, what we got last show. But let's see how much pop we take. 1.6. So it's a little higher. It was around like 1.1, 1.2 we were taking. So I think the demographics appeal has fixed something. I'm not really sure. I just feel like we're gaining pop at a way slower pace than I was on the last series. But then again, it has been about 2 years, so for all I know, the game's been updated and changed accordingly. But great main event. So Jeff will take sub and fight of the night, and there only was one knockout, so it has to go to Sapatov, which is funny because I think that's the first time I have ever seen him knock someone out. We only make 24,000 because, as you saw, there was so many guys that weren't debuting in general. Like, it wasn't their pro debut, they already had name value elsewhere, they already had fights under the belt. So with the win bonuses too on those guys, and some of them have pretty good name value elsewhere in the world, it was 17,000. Yeah, okay. I'll take it. I mean, it is what it is. Especially, like I said, if the money becomes an issue early on, which we don't really care about, we care about pop, but if it is, we can always rely on Eurosports Cable. But that's been all from me. I'll try my best next episode to do a much less analysing and just fire to the cards, so we can get to the more sort of, I guess, serious cards in a sense, when people's storylines have paved out a bit more and the challenges start going back and forth, and we have titles introduced and we start doing our minor shows, things like that. We'll try and fire into that ASAP. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm enjoying making these videos again. I'm very dedicated to finish it and just keep a series on YouTube for people to watch, which will be nice, because there's really not much, especially on the sort of fictional databases of MMA. So it'd be nice to have, like, a 50/100 episode series going from the bottom to the top. It would be cool, even for me to look back and watch. So I'll do my best, boys. I'll do my best. But have a good day, boys. Have a good day, and I'll see you next episode.